What's going on, guys? This is the Rapid Race Review. Ryan Blaney wins the inaugural race at Iowa. We're here to break it all down. Thanks for tuning in. This is Stuck in the Catchments. Welcome in. Hopefully, you're having a wonderful Father's Day. To all the dads out there, thank you for all that you do. We appreciate every single one of you. We had a night race for the first time. Well, even the first daytime race that the Cup Series went to Iowa, and we were treated with a wonderful primetime event. It is the first race on NBC, and we'll get to that here in just a second. But Ryan Blaney ends up winning the first race in dominant fashion, the most laps ever led in a race by the defending Cup Series champ. He had gone a while without a win. A lot of people were waiting for him to get to victory lane. He should have got to victory lane at WWT. He rights the ship after what was an emotional loss, running out of gas on the last lap. His teammate won that race. Then he comes to Iowa. No problem here as he ends up winning. And it was overall a good race. You know, when we look back at what Iowa was, a lot of speculation and more importantly, a lot of skepticism. There was a half repave, if you want to call it that, in turns 1 and 2. It was probably 2 to 3 lanes high. I think 2 to 3 car lengths is probably the more appropriate. Not even using half the turns. And then in 3 and 4, a little bit of the same, cutting off a little bit at the bottom of 3 and 4. And a lot of people had speculation. I believe there was a couple drivers said that we would see no passing, and we saw a ton of passing today. It was a traditional short race in the way that the leaders out front did really, really good. But throughout the pack, we had different tire strategies. Tires were a big factor today. And the biggest thing, and this is what NASCAR needs to hone in on, we had no shifting in less than a mile track. And that was probably the reason why we saw some of the best racing on a track 1 mile or less. Is because we had no shifting today for the most part. We saw drivers use 3 different lines at times. And it was just the perfect culmination of a mile, less than a mile track with the next gen car. And we've now seen what it takes. Good tires. We had those today. And no shifting. If you do those things, we can have a good product with this next gen car. A lot of people, including myself, think that horsepower could get to that. More horsepower is never a bad thing. But if we're able to tailor these cars to where we can get no shifting and get a better tire, we will see a better product. And Iowa was the perfect example of that. So thank you, Iowa, for presenting to us a wonderful, wonderful race. The best driver in today's race, the best car, probably didn't win. Kyle Larson looked like he was going to be the dominant car. He was dominant in the first stage. He won the second stage coming all the way from the back after pitting when nobody else did. Said he had a vibration and he had to pit. He went through the field, ended up winning the second stage. And then early in the third stage, he got contact with Daniel Suarez, ended up wrecking, and his day was essentially done. They had a lot of damage. They took that car to the garage. Kyle Busch, another top 10 squandered. That car had, they think, a broken toe link or a bent toe link for some reason. Something failed on the suspension. And then once they went out after coming out of the garage, the power steering belt just completely broke off, and then they said, hell with it, we're going to call it a day. So another tumultuous day for Kyle Busch. Also, it doesn't help that somebody he was chasing in the points got a win, but that's a lot better than Josh Berry. Some guys I want to give a shout out to. Justin Haley ran inside the top 10 a lot of this day. Josh Berry was really, really good today. So 2 drivers that were really, really good. Both Trackhouse cars got inside the top 10, and then Christopher Bell late in this one really had great long run speed. He was the lone bright spot for JGR, who has had back-to-back week now of being really bad outside of one car. Martin Truex Jr. was the one car that was decent last week, and Christopher Bell was the only car decent. This week, Denny Hamlin back-to-back weeks with horrific beginnings of this race. Denny Hamlin went a lap down almost instantaneously in the first stage, and then his day just never did get much better. Got pancaked on that wreck. It wasn't Kyle Larson's fault, but Suarez hit Larson then pancakes Hamlin into the wall. This was the first race that we had NBC. We had a 3-man booth when it comes to Steve Letarte, Rick Allen, and Jeff Burton. And we also had NBC producing this one, obviously. And miles, and I mean miles, better than what we got out of Fox. The coverage was much better. The showing the racing throughout the field was much better. I think the 3-man booth was good for them. There wasn't guys trying to talk over top of each other and things of that nature, which, they've done different things where they've had radio style broadcasts, and I think those are fun. But it just seemed like it worked really, really well today. And, the Rick Allen's going to do half of these races, and then Lee Diffie is going to jump in. I like Rick Allen. I know for whatever reason it's popular to not like Rick Allen on the internet. It's just kind of one of those things that when the internet tells you not to like something like Creed, then you just simply don't like it. But I think Rick Allen does a good job. I thought he did a great job today. Steve Letarte, I thought, was informative. Especially when it came to the tire situations, when he would pit for gas and things of that nature. And Jeff Burton, I think, does a great job. He talks a little much at times, but when he has something to say, it's infinitely more educational than somebody like Clint Boyd. So, I thought a great job by NBC today. It was great to have a night race, and, hopefully we get a good viewership out of this, avoiding the U.S. Open finish. So, overall, Iowa delivered, Ryan Blaney delivered, and it was a great day of racing. So that's going to do it for us here at Stuck in the Catch Fence. This is your rapid race review. Ryan Blaney, the winner on Father's Day. I'm sure him, his 80 friends, and Dave Blaney will have a wonderful day, and not heaven, but Iowa. Happy Father's Day to all you guys. For Ryan Peters at Stuck in the Catch Fence, stay safe and God bless.